So welcome to the messy garage. Got a little project here I've been thinking about doing for a while now. So this fire pit here, it's been a fantastic addition to our camping gear. It's easy to set up, cools down pretty quickly after you're finished using it, and it breaks down. The entire thing fits in this little case here, which is awesome. It's nice and easy to store on the bus. The only dislike I've had with it so far has been cooking. This past winter I did a solo camping trip where I made beef bourguignon in a cast iron pot. The pot was a little too heavy, so the mesh bottom of the fire pit sagged a lot. I didn't really like that. And then this past summer, I took it out and I used a vertical rotisserie to do a roast duck in the woods. And the problem I ran into was the way the vertical rotisserie clamps onto the sidewall. The sidewall's flexed a little too much, so I had to get a piece of firewood and help prop up the bottom of the rotisserie to help keep everything stable. It worked out fine. I was able to get the cooking stuff done, but I'm looking for something that's more of a permanent solution. So after some searching on YouTube, I came across a channel called Prolific Northwest, and Sean over there has a very clever solution. He took some aluminum angle, spanned it the length of the fire pit, and then put little tabs on the end to keep everything nice and tight. I attempted to make that same modification a few days ago, and I ran into a problem where after the first time I used it cooking, the aluminum warped. So the aluminum I used was thinner than what Sean used. So on the way home from work today, I stopped by the store and I picked up some steel. This is an 1/8 inch thickness, 3/4 inch height steel angle. It's 3 foot length. This is what we're going to use to make our supports. I'm not even going to trim this down. I'm going to leave it the full 3 feet length. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to make the tab a little less than 6 inches on each side. So I'll have a nice piece of metal there to keep everything nice and tight while it's sitting on the fire pit. The other modification I did to the stove already was the Primal Outdoor modification, where Jason over there cut a notch out of the sidewall to fit a cast iron panhandle, which was great. The only thing, it still kind of flexes on the bottom. So I'm actually going to take the aluminum supports that I made. These are the ones that failed. Actually, this is the one that warped here. You can kind of see where it's a little bendy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the tab off and just kind of lay them down. And they'll just rest on the mesh bottom of the fire pit, and it'll give a cast iron pan a little more support. So, we are going to start to build. Let's take our steel angle and get them measured. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this about 5 3/4 inches from the edges. And that'll give us plenty of overhang. Like I said, it's less cutting we have to do too, which is nice. And when we cut these out, what we're going to do is we're going to leave the thickness. Let's see if we can focus on it. We're going to leave this thickness on the spot that we're taking out, so we get a nice tab when we bend it. With this being steel, I'm probably going to have to heat this up and force it a little bit. The aluminum bent pretty easy, but it should have been my tip off. That probably wasn't going to hold up to the heat. All right, so that's what we're looking for. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece here and we're going to bend it to a 90-degree angle. And then this will rest on the sides of the pop-up pit. I got a few more cuts to make and then we'll be all finished. All right, we got both pieces cut, ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is take the aluminum pieces. I'm going to cut these tabs off too. Now we're going to switch over to a flap disc, take off any sharp edges or anything like that. We'll kind of smooth everything out so I don't cut myself later down the road. All right, got everything cleaned up where I want it. Now let's get bending. Hopefully this bends pretty easily. Let's see, just tighten down. That's not too bad. All right. looks pretty good. All right, that's what we're looking for. Perfect. One more to do. Second one down. Let's go see how we did. That's how much these things flex on the sides. On the back's not going to make a difference here, but let's put the brackets on now. So slide right over. Nice and easy. Grab our cooking grate. Fits right there. I brought my cast iron pan out. This is the one that I used to make the beef bourguignon. I just weighed this. This weighs about 11.5 pounds. So we'll see. Oh yeah, that feels real solid. And then if you look right here, this is where I cut the notch out. This is the Primal Outdoors modification. This is where the pan handle can slide down so you can get your pan in deeper. These are the failed aluminum things, so we'll see how these hold up. Just get this out of the way. Yeah, it feels really good. Yeah, I like that. That'll work. So next test is to fire this thing up and see how the steel does against the heat. Stay tuned.
Hello, how are you? I'm living on the moon. I'm calling from a telephone inside of a saloon. The only other person here left many years ago, and now I sit here at the bar feeling so alone. I've read all of the books I had and walked the planet round, but still the thing I'm looking for refuses to be found, except this clanging deep regret. Oh, I am such a